This is the Lynda Steele Show on demand. Subscribe now on iTunes and listen weekdays 2 to 6 on 980 CKNW and on the Radio Player Canada app.
All right, welcome back. This is Mike Smyth in for Lynda today. We are just over 18 hours away now from the start of tomorrow's big 420 extravaganza. It officially kicks off at 12 noon tomorrow at Sunset Beach in Vancouver. There'll be probably a big crowd down there even earlier than that. So the countdown is on to this event tomorrow. This is going to be a massive event. I predict it'll be the biggest ever. Not going out too far on a limb there. A lot of controversy around it, too. Jodie Emery is on the line. She's an organizer of 420. Jodie, thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you for having me.
Are you down at Sunset Beach right now?
I was there for a few hours earlier today, and it's looking like a beautiful day. All the professionals and City of Vancouver and Park Board staff and Vancouver Police are working together like we do every year to make sure it's a safe, fun event for everybody.
What's going on down there right now?
Well, every year we cover up the ground with $30,000 worth of professional ground covering. The stage is being set up by the professional company. We've got 2 teepees from First Nations groups from the Northwest Territories going up. They're setting up all of the toilets. I believe we have 70 to 90 porta potties that we paid for to come in. All of the fencing is going up to secure the site. And it's a beautiful, beautiful scene of our nonprofit volunteer group working with all these professionals as one of the only city events that's self-funded and doesn't receive taxpayer subsidies to pay for the costs.
Okay, we'll get into the details of that, but let me ask you this. You sure you got enough porta potties? How many people are going to show up at this thing tomorrow? This thing's going to be huge.
Well, every year we get bigger and bigger, and last year our team estimated the crowd was 100,000 over the course of the day, so we predict about the same amount this year, although the Park Board, for all their complaining about it, have certainly brought a lot of free advertising, so we might have a bigger crowd. But if you go down to Sunset Beach today, you'll see all of the park is divided up into safety security zones with big signs. Our organization buys radios to communicate with the police and Vancouver Fire and Rescue. So we have a coordinated safety plan. There's a site plan. This event is permitted in all but name. We get a letter of permitted activities, and it's all carried out safely, securely, and we pay for all the costs involved, except for the policing.
There might be some people surprised to hear you work so close with the city, the police, the fire department, paramedics, the park board, the city itself, when you guys were refused a permit. So how does that work? So you ask for the permit, they don't give you one. You guys say, well, we're running the event anyway, and then they start working with you anyway. Is that the way it works?
Well, this event has been a protest against prohibition and a celebration of cannabis, and it's celebrated all around the world. People are marching and partying and having fun and protesting. So as the event got bigger and bigger at the art gallery, city officials and first aid and police said, you need to start paying for more first aid and security. You need to pay for toilets and everything involved. So we work hand in hand with the staff. And 2 years ago, the park board staff presented to Park Board saying they wanted our event to be granted a permit. They made a whole presentation saying, give 420 a permit like every other event. Give them the bylaw exemptions. Give them the permission. And Park Board said, no, we are banning all cannabis events forever and ever, never to be allowed. Meanwhile, other parks, other cities allow it. So it's really just a bylaw that needs to be changed. And a bunch of beer drinkers had a beer protest on the beach, drank the beer without licenses, and got a permit to have their own beer drinking festival. So we're just looking for equal treatment to every other event in the city that gets welcomed.
Okay.
They get taxes, subsidies, and they get embraced, whereas we get condemned. It's really a partisan politics game between John Coupar, who wants to be mayor, and Kennedy Stewart, who is the mayor. You'll notice that all of the attacks are coming from the NPA, so they're just gearing up for their next election campaign.
Okay, it's interesting, Jodie, to hear you say that you just want equal treatment from the other festivals, because the other festivals are basically saying the same thing. They've released an open letter today saying that, I'll read you one line of it. It says, quote, calling an entertainment event or festival something other than what it is should not preclude organizers from following all the same rules. We encourage the authorities and regulators to hold all gatherings to the same account. So they seem to be clearly upset at what appears to be different treatment for you guys. This is signed by the Celebration of Light, the Vancouver Pride Society, the Vancouver Boat Show. I mean, some of the biggest festivals in the city. Your thoughts?
Well, Pride calls itself a protest, a party, a celebration, a chance to take up space, a time to celebrate how far we've come, and a chance to look forward to the work we still have to do. That's on the Pride Vancouver's website. Pride also gets hundreds of thousands of tax dollars to pay for their event costs. Fireworks, the Celebration of Light, gets $800,000 from taxpayers every year to pay for policing and other event costs. This isn't something to blame 420 for. The high cost of policing is killing community events in our city. And the real double standard is that all these other events, they follow the rules that we follow. We get the exact same list of rules. Again, we're permitted in all but name. We get the same letter, we follow the same rules, and we pay for everything ourselves.
Why don't you pay for the Jodie, why don't you pay for the police? I got 30 seconds.
Because we don't have the money for it, and everyone gets mad at us and says, you need to pay the cost. But shame on you for raising money. So how are we supposed to pay for the cost without selling vendor booths like Pride and other events do?
Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'll take a break here at the bottom of the hour. We got your news coming up. Jodie, you've got Jodie Emery on the line. Phone me on the open line if you have a comment or question about 420 tomorrow. 604-280-9898 is the number to call. 604-280-9898, star 9898 on your cell. Jodie, I know you're on the line there during the news. You may have heard Vancouver City Councillor Melissa DiGenova there saying the 420 people who have got booths down there doing a booming business, selling stuff down at 420 tomorrow, they should all buy a business license. What do you think of that?
First of all, I need a retraction. For the record, a statement just said that there was $200,000 worth of damage to the park. That is false. That is libelous. That is untrue and not documented. And I demand an immediate investigation into that statement. CBC News recently issued a retraction for a similar misrepresentation of the facts. So with respect, I hope there will be a retraction of that statement. Otherwise, an ombudsman might need to be contacted. But how
much was the cost?
There wasn't. The damage to the grass was almost nothing. We paid $30,000 to cover it, and we paid thousands of dollars to reseed it. The fences that went up the next day were kicking people off the grass. They were playing on the ground, and the park board removed them. The park board said that they would need 10 weeks of fences. They took them down after 4 because locals were protesting that there was nothing but green grass being surrounded by fences. So Melissa DiGenova has been misrepresenting and factually lying about many things about 420. I have already sent her all of the details. This is a partisan messaging campaign from them. And if she's concerned about money, well, we have money being raised for the insurance, for the Parks Board and staff. We pay for the Aquatic Center. We pay for all the city and Park Board employee time. We pay security, first aid. And in fact, this year, we're giving $4,200 to the CKNW Kids Fund, as well as $4,200 to the Variety Children's Charity and $4,200 to the Overdose Prevention Society, because last year we gave $4,200 to the Fire and Rescue Snacks for Kids and $4,200 to St. Paul's Hospital Foundation. So our event raises money to pay for all the costs demanded of us every year by the city. We do not get the subsidies that every other event gets. And our protest is against the waste of tax dollars on law enforcement spending and prohibition. So we're very pleased to be helping support the kids and the Overdose Prevention Society and to pay back all the bills except for policing. But that's something that no other event can afford to pay without the taxpayer subsidies that they receive from City Hall.
Okay, speaking of Jodie Emery, about 420 tomorrow, 604-280-9898 is the number, star 9898 on your cell. Bill in Richmond, hi.
Hi, Jodie Emery. Don't apologize for nothing. I own 2 homes in Vancouver, and the city sucks me dry of property tax. I pay so much. The city's got tons of money, and it's a public place. It's a public gathering. Bart on the beach, when they leave a big mud pit behind. and the geese are destroying the grass. Does anybody say anything about that? Pride Day, stop whining.
Okay, thank you for the call. Jody, when you said earlier that the event is nonprofit, people like Melissa DeGenova pointed out, well, you've got a whole ton of people selling stuff and they're buying booths from the 420. You guys sell sponsorship packages and advertising. Where does the money go?
The money goes to pay for the costs that they keep demanding we pay. It's a non-profit society. It's called the Vancouver Event Society. We raise money to pay for all of the things demanded of us. There's this weird double standard where people like Melissa are saying, you guys are making money. How dare you? And we say, the money is made to pay for the costs that you're saying we don't pay. So after 420, once we receive the bill, we're happy to share all of the numbers because this misrepresentation of our event is disingenuous. Our event deserves civic status like any other. We deserve a bylaw exemption like Pride gets to have beer gardens at the beach. We deserve to have tax subsidies that other events get to pay for their costs. But in the meantime, it's the only self-funded mass event in the city. If they're mad at us for making money, it's not me taking it. I'm a volunteer. We're all volunteers. Any money made is to pay for the cost of the event, the only self-funded event with no tax subsidies.
Okay, 604-280-9898, star 9898 on your cell. Howard in Vancouver.
Hi, good morning, Mike, and good afternoon, Mike and Ms. Emery. I would hope as a society that you would open up your books and show all your costs and expenditures and revenues because that's what societies have to do under the Act. I have some concern. I have no issue with you having an event. I have a problem with it being on the beach. It's a non-smoking area. That's been a bylaw that's been brought in, I think, for about 5 or 6 years. I would certainly look to a place where you could have your event, perhaps an airstrip or somewhere where you could have everything you want. I think the protesting part, I have a little problem swallowing because we've moved thousands of miles ahead with the new laws in the government. I mean, is it perfect? Maybe not. But I do have concerns with that. I have concerns with this giant concert that you're putting on. I think the idea may be great to involve these groups, but I think all those people on our beach, it's going to be a nightmare. And again, I think that you need to fund with the police and have that paid for. And like I said, if you want to have funding through a civic government, great. But let's find a location where that can occur, not on the beach.
Excellent.
Jody, what do you say to him?
Last year, we were in talks with the city. We looked at the PNE. In fact, the PNE wanted us to be there, but the locals got upset. NIMBYism is not new in this city. For your information, if you go down to the beach on any weekday or weekend, particularly in the summer, people are smoking joints, people are drinking beer. In fact, I just came across a bunch of beer bottles on the beach. That's not allowed either. We deserve one day. If you're concerned about smoke, let's look at the fireworks, which actually coats the city in toxic particulates and heavy metals, sending a lot of people to hospitals for days, traumatizing pets, traumatizing neighbors, and causing a lot of destruction and cost for police. I've talked to 2 Vancouver police officers today who told me 420 is the best event because it's peaceful, it's nonviolent, it's calm. So when you go down to the beach, please come down and see what 420 is about. It's the most inclusive festival you'll find. And when people say, what are you protesting? In fact, cannabis is not legal. Cannabis has 45 new criminal offenses. British Columbia now has 44 new full-time officers going after pot alone. We have $1 billion tax dollars in new law enforcement spending, and people are still going to jail. So there's a lot to protest.
Jody's running out of time here. Let me ask you one more thing. Who's doing your insurance coverage?
Well, we have insurance for a few varieties of the event, so that's being covered.
Who's your insurance provider?
I don't actually know the name of the company because I'm a spokesperson. We have a team of people working on this, but I promise you, we wouldn't be lying about this thing. We want a safe event too. Do you think I really want something to go wrong at this event? Heaven's sake, no. It's all about protecting everyone and being safe. If anyone wants information about 420, frequently asked questions, all the information is at 420vancouver.com. And please reach out if you have any questions. I am always on Twitter sharing a lot of information.
Jody, I would say that no matter what people think about this event and everyone who's listening, probably everybody could agree on something you just said there at the end. And like nobody wants to see an unsafe event. So let's hope I hope you guys have a good event tomorrow. I hope everybody's safe and everybody has a good time. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Mike. Have a great day. Okay.
Thank you for listening to the Lynda Steele Podcast. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe for free at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or anywhere you get your on-demand audio. And join the conversation. You can reach me on Twitter at Steele Talk, on Facebook, and by email, Lynda@cknw.com. Talk to you next time.